Every sport has their birthplace. It's a place of history, of heritage, and a symbol for the future, or the birthplace of Formula One. And this is Silverstone. Welcome along to the United Kingdom, just south of Northampton, for round 10 of the Breakout Racing League Realistic Championship and the British Grand Prix. We're back to where it all started 71 years ago. It was Giuseppe Farina is now for a Romeo team, surviving the circuit and his car to come home as the first Formula One championship victor. Well, now fast forward 71 years later, and at the illustrious list of names have been created to go alongside Giuseppe Farina, like Vettel, Alonso, Villeneuve, Fittipaldi, Stewart, Moss, Schumacher, Lauda, Brabham, Mansell, Prost, Clark, and most certainly Lewis Hamilton, whom of these drivers here tonight will add their name to the list of British Grand Prix winners a year ago. At this very venue, it was ARS Gutidu and the Mercedes team. Will it be a Mercedes again? It all started on the old World War II Air Force base, named the RAF Silverstone, and ever since has become the venue we all know and love. There are 18 corners, 8 to the left and 10 to the right, which makes up the 5.891 kilometer, 3.661 mile circuit. There are 2 DRS zones, one to run into Brooklands and the other one in the run into Stowe, which we'll see shortly, and that will aid overtaking at a track that really thrives on its DRS train. That's one thing to look out for, with drivers cannot escape it. The ones who do may be the successful ones tonight. The circuit's not only demanding of the drivers, but also on the tires as well. Pirelli have brought the C3, C2, and the C1 tires, the hardest range of tires in the Pirelli spectrum, with the C3 being the red-wooled soft compounded tire, which you see right now on KP21, the C2 being the yellow-wooled medium tire, and the C1 being the white-wooled hard tire. And with the ever-looming threat of the British weather, the intermediates and full wets are not out of the question. I would say right now, let's talk about the championship points, but at the moment they are unavailable to us. So instead, I can do the best and give you the Austrian Grand Prix results. If you could not tune in a week ago, well, let me tell you what happened. It was a Red Bull 1-2 again. Minico ahead of Zach the Beast with Jared in third. Deer Hunter grabs fourth position over Bailey in fifth. Taylor, Ron in the points again with John eighth, Luciano ninth, and Axe F1 in the Haas team rounding out the top 10, and another points finish for the American outfit. And that was one thing to look out for indeed. But one thing also to look out for is you have a battle in the hands. You have the Ferrari, you have Moo Moo Milk, and you also have the 2 drivers next to him. Well, Unsighted Port is one of them. He's not here tonight. He's now reserving from Scartrix. The other McLaren here tonight. Well, the other driver to look out for is in the Alpha Tauri. Bailey is within 25 points. There is a championship threat looming, but don't look now. 4 points back. Heading into Austria was Minico. He's a lot closer now. One thing to look out for is also the championship battle between the McLaren and the Red Bull team. It was close going into Austria, and I guarantee you it's going to be close here tonight. We'll see how the 2 McLarens, Taylor Clan and Scartrix, battle the Minico and Zach the Beast Machine and Red Bull, who's gotten 3 of the last 4 races in the podium. Sure, joined alongside Bois. Now, Bois, it's Britain. It's passion. It's history. It's Silverstone. And there's a lot of factors going in tonight. What do you think we'll see?
Well, unfortunately, I just got a report. I don't think rain or that's going to be a factor, unfortunately. So for once, the weather's going to cooperate here in England, because that's always been a question mark. I don't know. The championship battle and both are tight. Red Bull leads over McLaren. And the constructors, you have a McLaren driver, you have a Ferrari driver, Red Bull drivers in the Drivers' Championship. Kind of like 2010 all over again. So KP21 was going to be the first to complete a lap, but he made it. So it's John, and Ferrari. They're the first 2 on the boards with soft and medium. Be interested if anyone goes through the medium compound in Q2.
Well, that's going to be one thing to look out for, because I'm guessing the strategy so far, as you said, it is dry, meaning, well, I'm suggesting a lot of soft to medium or medium to soft. So the drivers that take advantage of that strategy, the alternates could be faster, could be slower. We saw in Austria, it kind of was a little slower. The undercut with the soft to medium was a lot better than the medium to soft, but one thing to look out for is this British Grand Prix itself is there's a lot of opportunities for penalties like Austria and DRS trains like Austria, but it's a whole different beast, the circuit Silverstone. John right now 27.6, the Mercedes, Ferrari 29.3 on the mediums, like you said. Well, now we can see on board with Scartrix as he goes into the final chicane into Vale and into Club. Let's see what the McLaren can do. To the lava handle, a couple of corners. Almost loses the car, saves it. That was a very nice save indeed. He goes through on the soft compounded tire and 29.5. KP did a 30.5. The lap starting to run down.
Ron jumps up to P2. Let's just see how Ron does in this race, in this session. His first 3 attempts of Alfa Romeo, he got 2 finishes in the points, and I think that was pretty tremendous being in the car he was at the time. Now he's in a car that's better, and that can fight consistently in the points, in my opinion. So, be interested to see how Ron does.
Well, speaking of Ron, he moved up to Ferrari. Well, someone else replaced him in Alfa Romeo, that being Dixie Ichigo. He goes up to P6, 30.266 for the Alfa Romeo driver. And right now, Crispy goes 50.1. That's a 51.6, sorry. He has gotten a banker lap there. So Tweaking goes up to P5, 26.889. A great lap from the Haas so far. Deer Hunter goes provisional pole, a 27.528. That's a good lap so far. Mercedes looking quick.
Yes, they are. And they're ways behind Red Bull in the championship, but they've not had, you would say, a straightforward weekend so far this season. So it's an encouraging start for them.
It is encouraging indeed. Right now, so far, only drivers out on the medium compounded tire. Ferrari not at P4. Rumu's P9. He's going to go again. That's why he had a little bit of a slower lap time, trying to do a banker lap. Minico is out on the mediums as well. He's actually going up into Maggots and Beckets. Shortly after, we saw the McLaren of Taylor. He's on the soft compounded tire. Right now, we have 20 drivers on the grid, 3 out on track on the medium, Bailey in the pit lane on the medium as well. A lot of people choosing the soft.
I think if you're the drivers, making the Q2 is a question mark, yeah, you're going to be on softs. Now, Minico, with that Red Bull, who's handy and pace, I mean, he's for sure going to get into Q2, and why not just do it on mediums and save a set for of your softs for Q2 and Q3?
Well, right now he goes provisional pole on those mediums at 27.4. That's a pretty impressive lap time. That is a step harder than the 2 soft runners behind him, and he just sent about a lap quicker. That's a very good lap. By the way, Crispy goes to 28.0, sorry, and Taylor goes 28.3. So a lot of competition for this top 5 slot. Right now, Crispy gets the best of the rest.
Yeah, right now, 12 have done their attempt, and all of them, the times, I mean, they're good times. They're not times where someone made a mistake or whatever, I mean, other than the validations. So we're waiting to see guys like Zach, Ed, Luciano, and Axe, and also Bailey, who's on out lap now, to see what they can do.
Let's see. Phantom goes up to P12, 30.120. That puts him ahead of KP21. Ardell, he's in the Williams this week, and he's invalidated through the first sector. So Zach is out on the track. Same with Bailey, Ed, and Axe is on a flying lap again. So it looks like those times are going to be starting to tumble down.
I'll tell you one guy that's in the pits, and be interesting what he can do would be Jared. Austria and Silverstone, they're not in a way similar or the same sort of track in terms of layout, but kind of what the tracks are, it is. Austria is a fast track, a lot of straights, high-speed corners. Silverstone's much the same, and we saw him get P3 in qualifying and finish P3 in the race, so be interesting if he can replicate that tonight as well.
To be fair, in his defense in qualifying, it was a little bit of a rain-affected race, but the race...
That is true.
He got it fair and square.
That is true. I did forget about that. I forgot it. Was it Q3 it rained?
Correct. And at the end of Q2, Deer Hunter goes provisional pole, 27.2, 2 tenths quicker of Minico. And Axe comes around the final corner, and he'll go up to P10, 29.424. It's a good lap indeed. Red Bull of Zach the Beast is actually going to be starting his flying lap shortly. Bailey is actually going through the first sector right now. Zach the Beast actually goes into the pit lane. So scratch that.
Interesting. France, Zach had an issue with, I believe, his pedals. So hopefully that was just an in and out reconnaissance lap. But 8 minutes left, and I tell you, if you don't have a time up on the board, you need to kind of act fast, because if you invalidate, you're not going to have many opportunities going forward.
Right now, the driver at risk being Zach the Beast. The bottom 5, Luciano, Ardell, Jared, Ed Tronhat, and Bailey. Bailey and Jared both on flying laps. Miniko goes even quicker at 27.1 on those mediums. He is really showing his pace compared to the Mercedes. And, well, Neymar, their manager at Mercedes, has said that's definitely thrown a wrench in his strategy. That was back when he did a 27.4. I think it just happened again.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about this bubble, KB21 sits in 14th. I think, Zach should be faster. Jared should be good. Bailey, Ed. So I think right now, Axe is kind of the one on the bubble, in my opinion. Star Tricks probably also needs to improve on his lap in order to be safe as Bailey goes P7.
That puts him now the second highest medium runner. We'll see Ed Tronhat. He's on a lap as well. Someone just improved. It may have been Scartrix up to P5. Not so. Let's see what Ed Tronhat can do. He's right now P20 in the Alfa Romeo. He goes up to P13.
Oh, right. I thought that was a Ferrari. Well, that's a good lap for him.
That now moves the bottom 5, being KB21. Is it right now, at the moment, the first driver out of qualifying, but there's still a chance. Phantom's at risk. Zach the Beast has yet to set a time. Ardell and Jared have yet to set a time as well. Ardell and Luciano both on out laps or so. Axe is now 13th. Phantom has gone up to 12th, so that puts him a little bit safer. And everyone else for Jared is out either on the track or on an out lap. And that bottom 5 starting to heat up a bit.
I will say I have noticed no one has retired for this session.
You say that.
I say that. Well, I meant manually retired, meaning they feel comfortable in advancing to Q2. So, I mean, the gap is pretty small. You look at Ron at a 48.4. Then you look at Mumu's at 28.9. Sorry.
Say it.
Miniko, yeah. Well, I think his time is safe.
I would hope so.
I think, honestly, if you can run in the 28s, I think you can probably feel a little confident. I think that's going to be kind of sort of the threshold.
Right now, the gap from first all the way down to 15th is 2.7 seconds or so. So that's kind of the range to beat right now. You see, they've got the leader. Now let's go looking back right now. Luciano going through Maggots of Beckets. And this is going to be a lap that the Aston Martin needs to get right. Not too much time left in the session. Bailey now joins Miniko, both Honda-powered cars, retiring in the pit lane, and ironically both on medium as well. So they've gone through into qualifying 2 on the C2 tires. That'll give them a plethora of soft compounded tires to use in Q2 and in the final 10 minutes or so in Q1.
Yeah, I think Miniko, that's bold strategy. I agree. Bailey, we'll see whatever Alpha Tauri wants to do. I don't know if mediums will get you into Q3. It's interesting to see what everyone else does.
Good to see as well. By the way, Deer Hunter is on another out lap, so it looks like that is is that a fresh set or is that a used set on the Mercedes? That is a used set. He's doing a little bit more reconnaissance. Ardell going through the final couple of corners from Vale into Club. See the Williams could do. He's right now 19th at the moment. He's on the softs. Can he get out of the bottom 5? No, he cannot. 16th ahead of his teammate, though. 29.986. Zach the Beast, he's on a flying lap going through into Luffield. He's going to go and see what he can do on the mediums as well. Luciano, he's on a flying lap. He's actually ahead up the road of Zach the Beast. He's in the bottom 5 as well. Jared's on a flying lap. He's actually a little bit, I think he's actually into Luffield Brooklands with the McLaren behind him. We'll see what these drivers have. KB21, Ardell, both those Williams drivers are right now out of the cut line. I am tweaking as the driver at risk. 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go.
Watching Zach, who is on those medium compounds. Jared also on mediums. That's a little bit bold for Jared.
To be fair, his teammate's doing that as well in 9th.
That is true. Well, okay, I see. I thought Ferrari did that on softs. But I see where he just got those strapped up.
Zach the Beast goes to 4th, so he is safely through into qualifying 2. Luciano goes up to P8. And he's safely through into qualifying 2, meaning the bottom 5 now. Ed Tronha, I Am Tweaking, BRL Ardell, KP21, and DRC Jared, who's actually come in to the pit lane. Looks like those mediums will not be going through into qualifying 2. He may have to get a set of softs.
Well, it looks like he also invalidated, so he wasn't going to be able to. I mean, you're just wasting time. So if I was him, I'd just bite the bullet, put on softs, and see what you can get.
Tweaking was in the bottom 5. He stays in the bottom 5, up 1 position, up to 16th. Not too far off his teammate, but is still in the elimination zone. And that looks like to be it from him in his lap. He's backed off. That may not be enough time for him to get another one going. Ed Tronha is going to be on an out lap in a few seconds' time. F1 is actually on a flying lap now, so it looks like he is going to try to do the best he can to get ahead of that threshold. Right now he has 1/10 the Phantom. Tronha has a couple tenths or so, 3 to be exact, to Axe himself. Ardell's in the pit lane, has to get out now, or if he's going to be out of qualifying 1. KP21 flying lap right now, and DRC Jared is in the pit lane as well. Yellow flags all over the place, and it's time to get the laps in. Qualifying 1 is coming to an end.
I think Luciano just jumped up to P8. That's a good lap. Someone jumped up into the top 10.
I think the top 10 is kind of stayed how it was.
Bailey was 10th and then jumped to 11th. I want to say Luciano. I thought I saw that name a little bit
Luciano
low.
did go to 8th. Yes.
It's a good lap for the Aston Martin.
First one across the line, I think, will be Axe, and the Haas he's invalidated, so he needs to get back to the line. Does he have enough fuel? He's in 8th gear trying to save for that Haas. Does he have enough time? Tweaking, he may not have enough fuel for another run. Ed Tronha, he's going through now. Does the Alfa Romeo have enough tire? Does he have enough time? Does he have enough grip? There's a lot of things, a lot of questions for Ed Tronha. He does have enough battery, but that's not going to be enough for 2 runs. Actually, it may. It'll be close.
Axe has enough battery for 2 runs or for another go. Because of all the people losing, the sectors just keep going up. I can't tell how much time we got left. 1 minute. There we go. I see it.
Yeah, that one little blip that shows.
So this will be Axe's last attempt.
Tronha's up into the top 15, so he's actually pushes Axe down to the bottom 5. He needs to get this lap now. Driver at risk is going to be Phantom. KP21's on a flying lap. He's going now into in a run into Copse. You see the McLaren, that's Taylor Clan to his right-hand side. This flat corner is going to be a lot of question marks going into the Grand Prix in a couple minutes' time, or actually about 30 minutes' time or so. How will these drivers take it, especially with fuel? That's going to be one thing to look out for. Could we have a dramatic first lap? Bailey, Mumu, Ron, Luciano, Crispy, Zach the Beast, John, Deer Hunter, Minico, all retired in the pit lane. Both McLarens are out on flying laps. Taylor may have just done more of a reconnaissance run. That's going to be pitting. I Am Tweaking. He's out of qualifying. Ardell's on a flying lap. Will he make the flag? It's going to be really close. He may not even make the flag. No, he's not going to. Checkered flag's done. Ardell is out of qualifying. KP21, his teammates behind him. Can he get out of the bottom 5 right now? 30.2. He needs to find about 0.8 of a second.
Axe is up 3 tenths.
Axe may get out of the bottom 5. KP21 does not. It's going to be right now at 30.2. Jared is on a flying lap. He's going to get one done. On the mediums, can he get out of the bottom 5?
He should jump around to P14, P13, splitting the Alfa Romeos if he can just keep it together on this final sector. And
Axe is out of gas.
Oh, wow.
He's out of the bottom 5 and 16th. He missed out by about 1/10 of a second. Phantom, he's going through Maggots and Beckets. He's a driver at risk. Ardell's still on a lap. So maybe he did make the flag.
Axe made the flag. He was 2 tenths off of his previous time.
Oh, out of the racing, out of qualifying. That's Jared at Stowe. From podium a week ago, now out of qualifying 1. And we'll start the race in 20th.
I didn't see it on my end. What happened? Did the car snap?
I don't know. I just looked at him and he was in the barriers. So it may have snapped through Stowe. We only look to Ardell. He needs about 0.5 of a second to get ahead of Axe. 0.8 to get ahead of DC Ishigo.
He's found 0.36 in that last sector, so.
Is he out of the bottom 5?
No.
Oh, no, he's not, but 0.2 adrift. He gets 16th and going to be qualifying his teammate and both Haas's for the first time, I believe, since maybe the round 1, I think that Haas was then out-qualified from a Williams driver, both Haas's to be exact. Well, that means qualifying 1 is complete. Ardell, Axf1, Tweaking, KP21, and DRC Jared, all 5 drivers will not take any part into qualifying 2, and that is their qualifying done and dusted.
How about Alfa Romeo getting both of their cars out of Q1?
I believe that is actually the first time this season that has happened.
I believe it has been. Good job by DXD.
We see a Q3 appearance.
It's not out of the question. I mean, they're only, Ed, I know it's different tire compounds, but he only's off by 4/10. So, with the evolution, with the grip evolution here, maybe.
We'll have to see. We have qualifying 2. Qualifying 1 is done. Qualifying 3 and 2 yet to come. If the rain forecast is supposed to head away and, I guess, away from the track, well, it looks like it's just going to be dry all throughout. We have drivers going the mediums. Minico went medium. Zach the Beast, both Red Bulls went medium. Mumu in 10th went medium. Bailey in 11th went medium. Ferrari Nut in the Alpine went medium in 12th. And Jared tried to attempt that and is out of qualifying 1. So it looks like those drivers, those, 5, have 4 sets, or, yeah, if they make it to qualifying 3, they have 4 sets of soft competent tires. Look out for them when qualifying starts to heat up.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect them using a used soft set. And why should they? The question is, if all the ones that, being effective, they use their medium set, how many mediums do they have at their disposal if they're going to be able to use that going into Q3? I'm inclined to do a split strategy in my opinion, but we'll see.
We'll have to see how that plays out for these drivers, and especially for the teams that will make it into qualifying 3. The pit lane at Britain is one of the longest on the calendar. Well, that's not for us to worry about right now. That's what's for worried about a little bit away from now. Qualifying 1, Minico leads both Mercedes drivers. Deer Hunter ahead of John. Scartrix in 4th. Taylor McLaren in 5th. The McLarens and Mercedes right now being split by the Red Bulls in 1st. Zach the Beast on the mediums as well. Crispy ahead of Luciano. Ron Swanson ahead of his teammate in 10th. Bailey, Ferrari Nut, Ed Tronha, BRL fan on the top 14, and 15 is DXD Ishigo in his first appearance, and we're going to be into qualifying 2. First time for Alfa Romeo getting both drivers into qualifying 2. Ardell, Axe, Tweaking, KP21, and DRC Jared, both Williams, both Haas's, and the Alpine out of qualifying 1 at Silverstone.
I look at the gap to see what would it be for the bubble time, maybe for Q3. It's kind of hard to tell if one's being on mediums from 10th, 11th, and 12th. Notice Crispy left the lobby. Hopefully he can get back in.
We got the green light. Qualifying 2 is shortly going to be underway.
15 minutes.
See who goes out first. If you said Crispy is not in the lobby, he's not going to be the first one out. I'm watching the other AlphaTauri. Actually, that's an Aston Martin. Phantom.
Oh, wow.
That's a shock.
It is a shock.
All right, someone go check in on Bailey and Crispy. Something's not right. They're not the first ones out of the pit lane.
I bet they're trying to get Crispy. And Crispy has joined, so perhaps they were occupied dealing with that.
Probably.
And we got 3, 4, 5 cars now leaving the pits. Now looks like they're going to have... Now we have a little bit of a flurry.
It's going to be a scrap for track position. The first car around will be Phantom in the Aston Martin. Behind him actually will be the Alpine of Ferrari Nut. Then you have the Mercedes, I believe, of... that's going to be John. And then you have a flurry of cars. I believe that is going to be Bailey behind. That's going to be the Ferrari. Actually, maybe the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, it is the Alfa Romeo of DXD Ishigo.
So far, it looks like everyone, well, except Luciano, is on softs. He's kind of leading the most recent train that left the pit lane. And it looks like both Ferraris have left as well.
Looks like Ferrari Nut may want to be the first one to the line, to be fair. He's pushed up a significant amount on Phantom.
And Phantom's dropped off a bit, looks like.
I don't think Phantom wants to get this track position up. He knows what that means. Dirty air here, especially through Maggots and Beckets behind, can get I guess, really interesting if you have a car in front of you, that dirty air taking a significant portion, what is it, 50-something% of your downforce levels following a car. We'll see how that plays out in the race, especially with the DRS trains. Right now, Phantom will start his flying lap. Behind him, they're going to be the Alpine. A Ferrari not behind him is going to be John, who takes the top 10 in qualifying 2.
Looks like Phantom and these guys are going to have clean track. Crispy's leaving the pits now. He's at the exit now. Which I noticed kind of in the beginning of Q1, KP21 came out, and he could not have come out at a worse time. Everyone decided to come out at that time, and I think that's the reason why he invalidated in Q1 when he was the first one leaving the pits.
Hopefully that doesn't play a factor in qualifying 3 or 2, to be fair.
Both Red Bulls and Taylor decided to just hold station at the moment. Everyone else is out.
Just kind of playing the waiting game in the Milton Keynes garage, and, well, for Taylor as well, the other McLaren. Actually, he's one of the only ones that's put the mediums on with Luciano, who's actually on track as well. Purple Sector 1 apparently for Scartrix. And the McLaren, as we start to get a little bit of a flurry going on. The exit of Maggots and Beckets. What's gone on here? Aston Martin and Alpine. That may help. Actually, it may help on that straight for Ferrari Nut there, but I guarantee you through Maggots Beckets, he lost a little bit of time to the wake of the Aston in front of him. So the first one to the line is going to Martin, but I can probably almost guarantee the Alpine's going to be a little bit faster. What's the line? What's the Breakout lap? What's the track? And the times we have to get at 28.2.
About 3/10, give or take.
What does John get? 27.6. That's the line we have to beat so far. The Mercedes of John setting the benchmark. Behind him is going to be, I believe, the Alfa Romeo. Yes, it is. Dixie Ishigo, 29.5, beats Phantom's lap. And the Aston Martin behind him is going to be the Alpha Tauri. Bailey goes provisional pole by 3 milliseconds, 27.662. Behind him is going to be, I believe, that is the other Aston Martin, Luciano, starting his flying lap. Scartrix, he's going to go around the final corner. He's going to start his flying lap and finish it. It's going to be a 30.653 or 35. What happened to that purple sector 1? Deer Hunter goes provisional pole, a 27.0.
This is the form that we expected to see Mercedes have. And it looks like Ferrari's having another go. He's either rushing to get back to the pits or is wanting to do 2 laps.
We'll have to see. Speaking of Ferrari, Ron Swanson goes up to P4, 28.166. Mumu, his teammate, goes across the line, P9. Banker lap, 41.1.
Yeah, something had to happen on his lap. I'm sure he'll go out and improve.
I believe that is the Alpine of Ferrari not going through Stowe and in the final couple of corners into the pit lane. Yep. So yes, you were right with that.
I wouldn't think. I mean, if you're trying to get into Q3, you know, this is the race tire you have to start on. I mean, you want to minimize as much wear as you can on your tires. Mediums, okay, you can do 2 laps if you want. Lap on your mediums will actually prevail faster, but softs, I don't think you want to do that.
Purple Sector 1, Minico and the Red Bull going through now into the field. See if he can get a good exit. Right now, look out for Leon coming to the line shortly. He goes up to P6 at 28.5 on the medium compounded tire. Another driver to look out for, Taylor on the mediums as well. What can the McLaren do on those C2 tires? A couple of drivers waiting for the times to be in. Ed Tronhan looking for a time. One driver who did set a time, I believe, was...
I think
Ed Tronhan goes up to 8th now.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out who the other one was. Maybe just been it.
I think that was just it. Luciano went to P6. Notice that. I think Ed's been the most recent one to cross the line. See if this is...
Correct. Mumu is going to be the next one. P4 by a 10th.
On his second lap. Good. And he has stopped. I have noticed.
See, provisional pole. What's the lap time? 26.6. 4/10 adrift from the Mercedes, and that's the time to beat.
Mumu's got it going again. He stopped abruptly right after he crossed the line. I was wondering if he maybe lost and had damage, and nope, I guess he just stopped and waited for everyone else to clear behind, so that way he can get on going again.
Possibly. Right now, everyone in the top 10 except for Luciano on the soft compounded tire. Crispy bails out of his lying lap and goes into the pit lane. Taylor's invalidated. He may pretty much be done on that lap as well. Scartrix, he's going through. Maggots and Beckets. Does he have enough battery? Yes, he does. Is he on a flying lap? That's going to be the main portion. The car in front of him, no, he's not. He lifted off.
I think Phantom's
trying to get some space.
I think Phantom's radar is broken.
Nah, he's I don't know what you're talking about. He's trying to figure out what the tire is he wants to go out for. According to the Aston Martin team, it's raining. Oh, it's dry again. Oh, it's full wet. Now it's dry again. He's on the mediums now.
Saw that going, wait. I still laugh when I see that video of Gasly on full wets at Germany, what, 2018, 2017?
Yeah.
It's not even raining at all. Like,
we had the same venue of this race, Crofty. It's optimistic, that's what it was.
That was, yeah.
McLaren of Scartrix on a flying lap going through now into the first of the two DRS straights at Silverstone, going into Brooklands in a couple of seconds' time. What is his first sector time? 28.3. He's about half a tenth up on his provisional lap that he's done. He is invalidated, though.
Yeah, and, you know, he's with 6 minutes and roughly 50 seconds left on 3-lap stops. I think if he would have done better, great, but I don't think that's the tire you want to start on if that made it to Q3.
Ran a little bit wide at Copse. Somehow that was stayed valid, and the McLaren of Scartrix will try to figure out what he can do. Minico retires in the pit lane, and that's going to be safely into qualifying 3, I presume, and I don't blame him. 29.9 is Scartrix's lap right now. He's going to try to beat that.
So far, Zach, Taylor, and Crispy have not set a lap. Crispy is on his out lap, and he might have just timed this just right on mediums, with it being a pretty quiet track at the moment.
We'll have to see. Right now, there's no one else on track at all other than the Mercedes going through Copse and Scartrix going through the final corner. The McLaren, does he improve? Yes, he does, up to 10th. And actually set the exact same lap time as Ed Tronha.
Now,
we need a 4th decimal place here.
Well, I thought if you had an exact time,
who did it first?
Set it first would be. That's what I thought.
Unless it's like a 8:03.1 compared to an 8:03.9, but we can't have a 4th decimal place.
No, I mean, because you know, RF 1997, how crazy of a qualifying session that was.
I would kill to have that kind of session happen at Silverstone at qualifying 3 in a couple moments' time. We have 30 seconds left to go in this qualifying 2 session. Deer Hunter's on a flying lap. John's on a flying lap. Both Mercedes taking it and trying to go and attack the Red Bull. Right now, it's a 1, I guess, V2 in that sense. Zach Levis has yet to set a lap. He's in the pit lane right now, but he's only set, what, 1 flying lap period so far this race, and that was on the medium compounded tire. And around, that's John. Keep it off the wall, he does. We could see a lot of that in the Grand Prix moments to come.
I've noticed the difference between F1 2021 and F1 2020. You can't take that corner flat. I don't know, I didn't see it, but that might cause some issues.
It may, especially with the full fuel, should I rather, and, well, Derriere as well. The other Mercedes going through Maggots. Beckets. He did not have a spin around Copse this time. Let's see what Deer Hunter can do. Remember, he's at 4/10 off of the leader, Minico, on the same compounded tire. That's the gap to leader 4.48 is the gap. Keeps it valid through Stowe. Now in the final couple of corners.
And Crispy's reaching the hanger straight, going into the Stowe, and he'll complete his first lap on mediums. If he'll have another go, or if this will be it, unless he invalidates.
Well, that's always kind of an iffy subject in Britain. Invalidations could definitely be plausible like it was in Austria a week ago. Crispy right now on the mediums, P6. That should be well safe.
That should be safe. And if I remember right, Luciano, I know he's got softs strapped up, but I don't think he set that P9 on softs. That's mediums. With Zach's attempt, he's on his lap now. Taylor on his out lap. I don't know if that time's going to hold up for Luciano.
We'll have to see. Luciano did that on the mediums. He has 3 minutes or so to get out of the pit lane and set another set of soft compound tires and go for a run there and lock himself into qualifying 3. Because remember, the tire you start on and the race is going to be exactly parallel to the qualifying tire for this session right here. So everyone in the top 10 right now, it's everyone on the soft except for Luciano in 9th and Crispy in 6th, both on the medium compound tire. Luciano is actually on an outlap. Is that a soft? Yes, it is.
Watching Zach. Hopefully he doesn't invalidate on his attempt. Kind of feel for Zach. He's here in this race at the moment, yet he's also a Patriots fan, so...
He'll get over it.
Yeah, they should beat the Falcons easily.
We'll see. Hopefully, for Zach's case, he wants a double whammy. He wants the Patriots to win, but he also wants to win the British Grand Prix. Well, he needs to get a good qualifying. He wants a good Q2 to make sure he can get a good qualifying position in qualifying 3. He's now P14. He's on the softs. What can he do? A 26.9 goes P2.
So far, front row lockout for Q2 for Red Bull.
Taylor Clan starts his flying lap in the McLaren down in 15th. He has basically 1 or 2 runs to make sure. Actually, I think he may have cut it a little bit close if he wants 2 runs, but he's going to have a couple opportunities to go into the top 10 and out of the bottom 5. Right into the bottom 5 being DXC Shigo, Scartrix, Ed Tronha, BRL Phantom, and Taylor Clan in the McLaren. Both McLarens, both Alfa Romeos, Phantom, and Martin is all in the bottom 5. Yellow flag. I believe that is just people retiring the pit lane. That's Crispy,
Yep.
John, and Miniko all have retired so far.
I'll tell you, it's nice to see Alfa Romeo. I mean, we'll see if DXD or Ed Tronha gets in, but nice to see them have pace for this time.
DXC Shigo is invalidated, and he may cut it a little bit close going back for a second run. What can his teammate do? Ed Tronha, he's in P13. He's only 0.8 off of his teammate in 11th. What can he do? He's P13 at the moment. Is he going to go out of the bottom 5? No, he does not. He's going to go for one more run, though.
Let's see, where is Taylor? There he is. He is. Yep. He will have enough time to do another lap, but let's see if he needs to do that. So far, so good. And yeah, I think that's safe.
I don't know. It could be a little close. P4 for Taylor Clan, 27.1. That should definitely be safe into qualifying 3. BRL Phantom is out on the medium compound tire. Well, that's an interesting choice there. Ed Tronha going through into Copse at the moment, and that is going to be another retirement in the pit lane. That's going to be Zach out and Deer Hunter as well.
I don't think Phantom's going to have enough time to start a lap. No, he won't.
I think he's actually...
He's done.
Yeah, the checker flag's done. Qualifying is over. Ed Tronha, he's going to have to set a lap, but not before DXC Shigo. Actually, he barely got his. Scartrix going through Copse. He's going to have enough time to set a flying lap as well. Ron Swanson goes to 9th. That puts Crispy on the bubble driver at risk. Ferrari Nut is on a lap as well. We'll see what he can do in the Alpine, but it's going to be between these guys at the bottom 5. Ferrari Nut, DXC Shigo, Scartrix, Ed Tronha, and BRL Phantom. Who is closest?
Startrix coming out, and Startrix is a second and a half faster than his time.
And Tronha improves, but not out of the bottom 5. P13.
This is going to be close between Trix and Crispy. He was 1.5 faster. If he can be 1.9, he will likely be in, and we will see. And yes, he is. P5.
That pushes Crispy out of qualifying. Etronut's done. Phantom's done. Ferrari Nut goes to P9. Ron Swanson's now out of qualifying in the Ferrari. And if DXD can say anything about it, he could possibly knock out the other Ferrari.
And unfortunately for Crispy, with retiring, not much, I mean, that's unfortunate.
Let's see. Alfa Romeo, they could have a chance to beat Ferrari here. Can they get out of the bottom 5? No, they cannot. So that means one Ferrari's out by 5 milliseconds. Ron Swanson is out of the bottom, or out of the top 10 shootout. So Mumu outqualifies Ron for the first time as them being teammates. Crispy gets P12 on the medium combat tire. That strategy didn't work out. Both Alfa Romeos, DXC Shigo outqualifies Ed Tronha, and you have Phantom in 15th. And that is the 15th through 11th for the British Grand Prix.
And through all that, Luciano did improve on his time. And as you see, no one will start on the medium compound for the race. Everyone's going for softs. Even though I thought no, you're right. Never mind. Interesting.
Anyways, for qualifying 2, Minico out ahead of Zach the Beast. Red Bull 1-2. Deer Hunter, the Mercedes, trying to kind of pretty much match them. 3/10 off and a 10th off of Zach the Beast. Taylor Clan and Scartrix 4-5 from McLaren. Bailey in 6th in the Alpha Tauri. John in 7th. Apparently he's on the mediums, according to Mercedes manager. But, well, unfortunately, the game does not say so. Luciano in 8th. Ferrari not 9th. Mumu in 10th. That's the top 10, and it's going to be their top 10 shootout in about a couple of minutes' time. Who grabs pole for the British Grand Prix? Ron Swanson outside by 5 milliseconds in the Ferrari in 11th. Crispy in 12th. DC Shigo, Ed Throna, both Alfa Romeos, 13th and 14th, and Phantom in 15th in the Aston Martin.
Just look at the gap between P8 and P12. I mean, is that tight or what?
Wow. That was pretty tight. 8 milliseconds from Crispy to Ron, 5 milliseconds from Ron to Mumu, and that is what? 35 milliseconds from Mumu to Ferrari Nut, and about 6 milliseconds from Ferrari Nut to Luciano.
You can barely
don't mention John and Bailey, by the way.
Yeah, but there's a bit of sheet of paper between P8 to P10. I mean, that's very, very tight.
If that's what qualifying so far has shown us, is it's going to be a great British Grand Prix. Let's hope qualifying 3 holds up that way, and let's hope the race holds up that way as well. Qualifying 3 coming next.
Trying to see. Yep, only one Ferrari powered engine of Mumu. The rest are all Mercedes except the Alpine of Ferrari Nut. The only Renault powered.
Qualifying 3, the red light is now off. The green light is on. We have 12 minutes to go set the fastest time. Who can be on pole for the British Grand Prix? Who's going to be the front row? What is it going to look like? Is it going to be a Red Bull 1-2? Is it going to be a front row lockout? Will it be a Mercedes 1-2? Will there be a little bit of some fun happening between the Mercedes and the Red Bull? That's the first one out. Is going to be one of the Mercedes, I believe. The other one is going to, is it an Alpha Tauri? No, it's not.
Ferrari Nut would be the first one to lead. Then it looks like it is an Alpha Tauri behind him. So it did have a photo. Apparently John did set his time on the mediums.
Yeah, that's what I was told in the middle of qualifying 2 whenever he retired in the pit lane. So that's one thing to look out for.
Yeah.
John on the mediums.
The only one. Well, his goal will get to qualify as far and as high as he can.
We'll have to see. Right now, everyone is out on an outlap except for Luciano and Taylor Clan, the Aston Martin and the McLaren drivers. Trying to wait in the pit lane, wait for the laps to kind of fall to them. Moo Milk, right now, the championship hopeful. Port is the championship leader, but since he's not here, Port, well, can't really score points for himself now, can he?
No.
Moo, if he would score today, he would take the championship lead, but don't look out. Bailey is about 25 points back. That was into Austria. We don't even know where Minico is because he won the race last week.
I want to
So he could very much take the championship lead.
I want to say the top 4 are only separated, give or take, by 10, 15 points.
That could be the battle to look out for. There's battles up and down the grid that is very close. One of them being the constructors' battle between McLaren and Red Bull. And Mercedes are kind of gaining ground again. Could we see Mercedes kind of put their foot in that door, try to go and open it up for a P2, maybe even a chance at a P1 later down the road? We're 9 rounds done. This is round 10. There's not many more to go before you start having to get in hammer time and get the best you absolutely can from every Grand Prix. Mumu's going to start his flying lap. The laps are going to start to come down. Everyone's out on the track. There's no one in the pit lane.
Nope. And you hope that Mercedes can battle with Red Bull because the last 4 races, I mean, outside of France, France was its own deal. Red Bull's been 1-2, and they've been doing what they've been needing to do without really being challenged. So we need Mercedes up there.
We'll have to see. There was a lot of action, a lot of drama a week ago. Drama again in Silverstone. We have a about 9-minute break before we get to, really see exact what spiciness this race really has to offer for Grand Prix. Like I said, last season, Mercedes held that trophy at the end of the British Grand Prix with ARS Coutinho. Well, could we see a Mercedes up there again, or are we going to see a Red Bull victory? I believe it's going to be actually the first Red Bull victory in Silverstone from Realistic, if I'm right. First the line, and he will take so far 27.939 for the Alpine. Behind him, though, John 26.9. That's going to be the first one to break into the 26s in qualifying 3. We'll see what Bailey behind him does. He goes 27.7 ahead of Ferrari in P2. Minico 26.4. That's a lap to beat. 26.9.
Well, so far, Deere hasn't set a time, but we have a Mercedes splitting the rules. And that's John on the mediums for the start, so very interesting.
Dean Hunter crosses the line, 27-2. Right now it is a checkered board pattern between Minico, John, and Deere, a Mercedes 2-4, Red Bull 1-3. And McLaren's haven't set their times yet. We'll see what they can do. But everyone else, and Luciano as well, has yet to set a time. Luciano and I believe Taylor are going through now into Stoke and see what they can do. Right now, Taylor, P10. He's been 4th, 5th, that kind of range through qualifying 1, qualifying 2. Looks like McLaren they're kind of sitting pretty for a chance at a podium tonight if it goes their way. P5 for Taylor, 27.518. So it looks like I got that one right. We'll see what Luciano comes across the line for in the Aston Martin, 28.1.
Well, we did have a checkerboard thing between Mercedes and Honda engines, and Taylor decided to break that up.
The sole Ferrari engine in 7th, and the sole Renault-powered engine in 8th. The Alpine and the Ferrari sitting respectively 7th and 8th.
And looks like Minico comes down to the pits. So does Bailey. I think everyone's just, after they do their one attempt, will come into the pits. I don't see a reason why. I don't think you're going to gain much time unless you make a mistake.
Well, since we're having a little bit of downtime, Mercedes have signed Deer Hunter to the end of season, and they have tried, and it looks like they are going to be successful. Cookie may be signed to that other Mercedes seat. We'll have to think of that in the, I guess, in the coming races or so. Actually, in the coming moments, probably. You never know. Well, a lot of things can change for the seat-wise, but now we have 6 minutes left of qualifying and a little bit of downtime. Who do you think will be pole?
With the form that he's been on as of late, it wouldn't surprise me if it's Minico. It really wouldn't surprise me at all.
Luciano actually improved on his lap up to 7th. Now beats Mumu and Ferrari Nut and goes up ahead of both of those drivers for a 27.712. Good lap for the Aston Martin on the second run.
I guess Scar Tricks made a error or something on his lap.
I believe he may have invalidated, if I'm not mistaken.
So far, it's pretty. I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag after the Red Bull Mercedes. You got a McLaren Alpha, then you got Aston Martin, which is good to see them in the Q3. I can't remember the last time they made Q3 as well. Yeah.
Maybe France?
Was it?
It may have been, because I don't think both Aston Martins were. I think they were both out a week ago in Austria. Deer Hunter actually improves on his second run, too, past his teammate John up into second. 4/10 adrift. And by the way, the gap between 6th and 7th, Bailey and Luciano, 3 milliseconds. The gap between 2nd and 3rd, the two teammates at Mercedes, 12 milliseconds. And don't count the 5 milliseconds from John to Zach.
About to say to Zach. Mercedes and Red Bull, they've they're clearly in their own little world. It is surprising that, well, maybe in a way not, that a driver has won this season so far is inside of Port in the McLaren, but you know, these are the two teams. This is what we expected to see most of the season, is a straight up fight between Red Bull and Mercedes, and we haven't really seen it until now.
No, we have not. This is going to be the most, I guess, predominant showing from Mercedes to Red Bull, I believe, ever since Spain, where Dier grabbed pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix. Well, that didn't really end up too well, as it was a McLaren P2, a Red Bull P1, and I believe Zach the Beast grabbed P3. Or no, it may have been Deer Hunter being P3.
I don't remember. It might have been. Was that? I don't know if that was their first race at Red Bull.
No, it was first race at Red Bull was after Monaco.
That's what I thought. Oh, right. Zach was at Mercedes. I forgot.
Mumu's on a flying lap down in 8th position right now in the Ferrari. He's going to go through the first sector. Everyone else is the pit lane. 3 minutes to go, qualifying 3. It's all or nothing. It's do or die for these drivers, and times are going to be tumbling down in about a minute and 50 seconds time. Realistically, see either drivers getting out on track or completing their final laps.
Mumu's going to have no traffic to deal with. And then it looks like Ferrari behind him, who's on an outlap. He's going to have a really good gap. And here comes the train. There's Bailey. There's Luciano. Then both Red Bulls. See what Mumu does. Into sector 2. Up. Well, he's up by a 10th and a half. Oh.
And validates a stow.
Yeah.
Apex. Does he have enough fuel?
My question is, does he have enough time?
He has enough time, but does he have enough fuel?
The fuel light isn't on, and the battery, he's got 70% battery, so he's got enough time, I would assume.
He's trying to recharge the battery. Ferrari Nut's going to be on an out lap, and now a flying lap as the Alpine goes through into farm.
Thought for a second he's going to validate right there on the final corner. That would have that would have been just game, set, match. Luciano starts his lap. Here comes both Red Bulls to start theirs, and then you'll have the two McLarens kind of together.
Watching closely, the first driver that will complete their flying lap with about a minute to go on qualifying 3 for the Silverstone circuit and the British Grand Prix. It's going to be Ferrari Nut going through Maggots and Beckets now in the Alpine. Down in P9, a 27.9. That's the tap lap for him to beat so far, going through sectors 2 split.
Just a little
10th
bit.
improvement, but he's invalidated though.
Oh. Well, I think you'll have.
The exit.
I think you'll have enough time to start a lap, but I don't know. So far the light's not on. His fuel light.
He should be fine, but now Mumu, he's going to be a little close on ERS. Run wide and invalidated. Mumu's now out of qualifying. A 27.7 puts him P8. That's his maximum position for tonight. The driver behind him, though, Bailey, he's going to be the next one across the line. The Alpha Tauri going through Stowe.
Star Tricks has invalidated.
He's out of qualifying as well. He'll start P10. Checkered flag flies. It's time for the drivers to get their laps in. Who can get what? Bailey going through into club. He's P6 in the moment. Does he go for pole? He goes so ahead of Taylor Clan by 3 milliseconds. Behind them, he's going to improve. No, he's not. He stays P6. The Red Bulls, though. Zach the Beast, he's going to be the next one across the line. Minico's even faster. 26.2. What does Zach the Beast, his teammate, go? He does not improve. He stays P4. Right now, it looks like Mercedes have the upper hand. Row 2 and 1 with the outside row is going to be second and third, separating the two Red Bulls. Well, that's going to be 2v1. Something tells me that math doesn't work out. McLaren is going to be next. I believe it's going to be Taylor.
Yep.
Going through into Vale and Club. He's P6. Does he improve? He does beat Bailey.
Handily, 5
Comes
tenths.
John though. Going through. Can the Mercedes do anything? He's P3 at the moment. Can he go for pole? He goes, beats his teammate though. But now what can Deere do? Final opportunity.
Needs to find 7 tenths.
It's going to be a tall order, but he can probably try to do it. What did the Mercedes do? It was close. I don't think he beat his teammate,
I think
though.
it was a 26 flat. I saw it like barely. I don't think he did.
He did beat his teammate.
He did.
Qualifying's done and dusted, and it's close between the Mercedes, but not between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. Minico gets pole position by about 4.5 tenths over both Mercedes of Deer Hunter and John, who barely, that's about 1/100th of a second, separates those two. Zach the Beast goes to start 4th in the grid, 7 tenths off his teammate. Taylor Clan starts 5th, and, well, that's a 5-tenth gap, like you said, to Bailey, who's not too far ahead, ahead of Luciano. Mumu is going to start P8. That's going to be the lowest average start for both Ferraris, I think, this season, 8th and 11th. Ferrari Nut, he's going to start P9, and Scartrix is going to round the top 10. That is your top 10 for the British Grand Prix, and qualifying set. It's time for the race.
Be interesting to see what on down do. Sounds like the mediums here, you can make them go last about 16 laps, and the soft tires, I've heard 8 laps, give or take. So if you're on the medium tires, you know, kind of like Austria, try to maybe make your way through this soft runner train, and then when they pit, you're going to have to take advantage of that clean air for the alternate strategy to work. Of course, a safety car in all of these plans.
According to the race director, John is still on the softs. There it is. He's now on the medium compounded tire. So, like that being said,
that's true. I forgot about that.
Mercedes is on the mediums. So he's going to be the only one in the top 10. Everyone else is on the soft compounded tire. They qualified into qualifying 3 using those tires. They have to start on those tires. Everyone outside the top 10, from Ron Swanson on back, have a tire. The Ferrari right now has chosen soft, crispy, medium, AXF1, medium, KP21, medium. Could we see any drivers try to choose the C1 hard compounded tire? That's the hardest compounded tire on the Pirelli range. Will we dare see someone go on that tire? It's probably going to be a mixed bag of mediums and softs, as it is right now. Right now, 16 on the softs, 4 on the medium.
Yeah, I don't think starting on hards is ideal. And honestly, I don't think you're going to hards unless you just have a catastrophic start. We've seen it happen before, and sometimes you get lucky by doing that strategy, but it's just not the ideal tire I don't think you want to be on for today.
I don't think so either. It's going to be a pretty much a one-stop all around, from a soft to a medium or a medium to a soft, depending on what tire you start on. Well, the time is now about to get going. Formation lap. It's the British Grand Prix. We're about to get underway for the formation lap. The drivers need to get their tires, their brakes, and their cars up to temperature and up to full working condition as Minico leads them away. So Jared has actually chosen the medium as well. So let's run through the grid here. Minico won a week ago at Austria. He would like to do that again for Red Bull and possibly even take the championship lead. Behind them, it's not going to be easy for him. Deer Hunter and John, both Mercedes, could possibly try and break that up. They're doing an alternate and a switch strategy between those two drivers, a split strategy, if you will. Like you said, and you hinted on, you would probably try to do a split strategy. Well, Mercedes is trying to combat that with Minico, probably force the undercut or force the overcut, depending on which way they prefer. Zach the Beast is going to be 4th. He's going to try to do the same for the Mercedes, put pressure on those guys, and hopefully grab his teammate. And Red Bull, a great finish tonight. Taylor Clan 5th, Bailey 6th, Luciano 7th. That's going to be the battle for the midfield. You can see a lot of these guys, Luciano looking quick in the Aston Martin, but Taylor's been consistently 5th. Right now, he's going to be a tall order to beat for best of the rest. Bailey, he's going to try to combat that. He wants to try to grab the best of the rest, if not even a chance for a podium or a P4. He's done it before. He'll want to do that again. Luciano, he wants to do that as well. Mumu, he wants to grab some points. Actually, I think Bailey just spun off the formation lap. Yes, he has, off the left-hand side before Copse. Ferrari Nut, he's going to want a good finish. Again, Startrix is going to want a good finish for McLaren. He's not going to get classified for, himself in the championship until he signs a full ride seat. But McLaren can still grab a beneficiary because they're still in a fight with Red Bull. Ron Swanson, his first race for Ferrari, he wants to probably improve that, grab some points, and show why he should have been promoted from this car about 3 races ago. Crispy 12th. He's going to try to have a lot of order. He's going to be the first one on the mediums in 12th. DXC should go first one in the out of the Alfa Romeo pairing. And he was signed this week. He's going to do the same thing Ron Swanson does. Crispy, he's now going to having to look out for that Alfa Romeo of DXC Ishigo and the Alfa Romeo of Enteronha. Both Alfa Romeos looking close to each other and looking pacey so far. That's good for them. Phantom in 15th. Ardell, Axe, Tweaking, KB21, and Jared starts from the last place on the grid after a qualifying crash. Let's see how this goes for the British Grand Prix.
Interesting how this goes at the start. If you're Zach, you want to get by John because you don't want to be held up by his mediums. So how aggressive will he be at the start? And of course the front row with Maniko and Deer.
We'll have to see. It's going to be aggression. It's going to be a lot of good racing at a track of heritage, history, and where it all began 71 years ago. We have 26 laps, 20 drivers, 18 corners. Who makes it to Abbey first? The lights are on. And it's lights out. And away we go. And that's a good start from Deer Hunter. Actually, in the second phase, it's pretty harsh. That's going to be Taylor. He's going to go up the inside, look for a move on the Mercedes, and gets actually ahead of John going into Abbey. Then he go ahead of Deer, ahead of Taylor. John, Zach the Beast and Bailey are battling into Club. Now going into, I'm sorry, not to Club, into Village. Now going into the loop. Bailey has the inside. Is going to have the upper advantage on that Red Bull. Now up a position. Moo Ferrari Nut. Look at that. The Mercedes actually trying to get a little bit closer, but not too close enough. Crispy, Bailey, D6 Ishigo is battling for 17th, by the way. That's a good start from the Alphas. Both 11th, and now Ron Swanson gets past DX Ishigo. At Trona kind of falling back a little bit. Yellow flag to the first sector. KP21, I believe, has a round.
Yeah, and Tweaking already has a penalty.
May have been him, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it was. Looked like some contact was made on it. Looked like one of the Williams X hit the inside wall at the start. Don't know what that was about.
It is a good start from Taylor. Up a couple of positions already, and now splitting the Mercedes. That's going to hurt them, and they need that as well. Here comes Deer Hunter, though, with a slipstream for the Honda-powered engine. The Mercedes-powered of the Mercedes. He's going to try to look around the outside of Stones. Activists gets past Bailey. Battle for 5th. And Luciano and Scartrix. That's going to be Mumu as well, battling for 7th, 8th. Maniko holds on so far ahead of Deer Hunter. And now that's going to be one lap done. 24 to go. Can Taylor hold on to this group? Can John get past Taylor? How quickly does this happen? Where does Zach fold in all of this? And Crispy's up to 11th. How fast does he charge in the medium tire as well?
And the main question here is who's going to be able to break that 1 second DRS gap. We all know with Britain, this can be a DRS train. And really at the moment, everyone is within a second of each other, all the way down to P15.
Well, we have one more lap before DRS is enabled. What happens between now and then could change rapidly. We could have a safety car, which is not too uncommon for the British Grand Prix. It's dry, so we could have some tire implications, tire strategies. We could have even a chance of driver pushing their tires too hard. Could we see some tire wear, or even maybe, do I dare say, a puncture in the near foreseeable future sometime this race? We'll have to see. Right now, Zach the Beast past John.
He's through.
Battle for 4th, and he's up into 4th.
He got an excellent drive off Brookhands. Or I'm sorry, yeah. Very brilliant.
Ardell passed Enteron Hunt, battle for 17th. But right now, with that move on John, Zach DeVries is now out of DRS range. John's going to try to gut him. That engine power, the Mercedes with the slipstream from the Honda, looking pretty good so far. Mumu and Fernet battle for 9th. And looks like those two are going to be side by side into Stowe. But right now, the gap from 1st to 2nd, 0.6 of a second. The gap from 3rd to 4th. That first opening for DRS, 1.3 seconds. Right now, as it stands, Zach DeVries is not going to get it. Mumu and Fernet are still going at it. They're still side by side. Off the track they go. A little bit of contact. A little bit of contact again. Going into Abbey. They're still side by side. Fernet will grab the position.
Speaking of Ferrari Nut, his teammate Jared is.
Oh, he goes deep. It's a battle going on between these two. Mumu may have the upper hand right now. He does. He gets back ahead of Ferrari Nut and grabs DRS in the exit.
Here comes Ferrari Nut.
That's not going to stop him, though. Go down the inside of Crispy as well. The Ferraris go synchronizing side. Mumu makes the move on Ferrari Nut. Ron makes the move on Crispy. It's all kicking off in the back right here for 9th.
Well, this is what you're seeing right now, soft tires versus medium tires, but Crispy is being able to hold on to these guys. Speaking of the mediums, John down to P5.
How does the DRS now work? If the DRS is enabled this time, does he try to make a move on Zach DeVries in front? But Deer Hunter, he may try to make a move on Minico in front to the right-hand side of the track. Now the left-hand side of the corner. He's going to run the outside. It's not going to work. Ferrari Knight gets past Moo, but he's going to go for it again. And DeVale, side by side once again. The Mercedes and the Red Bull contact a little bit. Still side by side. Minico holds the position, but how does the better exit? No. Here comes Deer. Minico's going to go aggressive
risky.
Squeezing. This is going to probably, into Abbey. Side by side. They make it work. Still around the outside of Farm. Down the inside of Village. Still side by side. Into the loop. Minico takes the lead. Squeezing again. They're still side by side.
Tremendous.
Who gets the DRS? Taylor making them both here. No, Minico loses out to both the drivers, and Taylor's going to grab them both on the inside into Brooklyn's. The move around the outside, though, of Luffield. Going for it. Now he's going to lose out of the Red Bull here.
Deer had a snap on exit. Are you serious? This is amazing.
Side by side into Copse. Minico grips the position. It's excellent racing right now.
And
with this happening, Zach's now in DRS.
Right. He's bringing John with him. We're about to have 5 cars here under a blanket.
Well, it's going to start again. Minico's going to have DRS. Taylor's going to have DRS. Minico to the right-hand side. He'll go for the move, and it's going to be way before the braking zone, but Taylor is going to try to look for the move in the braking zone of Stowe. Not close enough. Minico ahead of Deer, ahead of Taylor, ahead of Zach, ahead of John. Those guys are now in the mix. Like you said, a 5-car battle for first.
Yeah, right now, Deer, unfortunately for Deer, his battery is low, whereas Minico has around 60, Taylor about 45, Zach's 30, and John's at 80. John's probably the one that's sitting right here just being patient. He knows that these guys ahead of him, 1, have to pit, and 2, their tires are going to fall off soon, so he might be able to just pick them off one by one soon.
Minico goes incredibly defensive to the left-hand side, the halfway point of the straight. Taylor's gaining in on Deer Hunter. He's not close enough. Zach the Beast is, look at this. The mid-corner speed for the McLaren of Taylor there. Looks like this may probably be where Deer falls off a bit.
Yeah.
That's probably his only chance.
Well, right now we're working lap 5. This is probably when the tires are going to start to fall off for the soft guys.
I could see possibly anticipating a McLaren move for Taylor, looking to be the attack compared to Deer Hunter's a little bit defensive at the moment. KP21 grabs another 3-second time penalty applied to his race time. Deer Hunter's blinking. The DRS indicates he's below 20%. Taylor's not close enough for a move into Stowe. Neither is Zach the Beast or John. Bailey and Luciano battling for 6th. Ron battling with Ferrari Nut. They battle for 9th.
Well, one thing that's going to be interesting is how does Red Bull call their strategy? They have both of their cars, P1, P4, basically right next to each other. It's going to be interesting to see who gets the call where the box says, we have Ed Tronha is out.
Ed Tronha's out of the race.
Is this going to cause a safety car? Looks like he's off at the end of Stowe. Still no word.
See if I can grab a camera angle with Phantom, but it looks like a little bit too far away. No damage to KP21.
BXD is off.
Oh, and 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits for the Alfa Romeo.
That's a harsh penalty. When it looked on the mini-map, looked like he went wide and actually lost a lot of time. Wow, these front 4 and front 5 are still right all next to each other. They've completely left Bailey.
They have. But that's in turn to the DRS as well. Bailey got past Luciano, but he also has Scartrix in that DRS train. Those guys have a DRS train, and about 3-second gap to Ron in battle for 9th with Ferrari Nut, Crispy Jared It's about a second and a half back. Deer Hunter, he's going to look for it again. He has the DRS. He doesn't have the ERS to his advantage this time. The Mercedes going to look to the left-hand side around the outside of Stowe. Minico takes the move and kind of defends that position rather well. Luciano gets past Bailey, but is Deer Hunter going to look for this in the Vale? No, he's not. A little bit too far back. Thought better of it.
In the back, I guess, the mayhem that was going up front. Missed where something must have happened to Mumu. He's down to P13. Biggest mover so far is Jared. Jared's up to P12 after his issue in qualifying Q1. He is on the medium compound tire as well.
Deeks Ishigo going into the pit lane for a change of tires. He's on the soft compound right now. He may go on the medium compound tire. Alien Scartrix battling McLaren in the Alpha Tauri. Minico, once again, just a little bit too far out front for Deer Hunter's liking. Needs to be a little bit closer in the exit of the loop into Airtree there. Aintree, sorry.
DXC does go on the mediums, Phantom on hards. I guess he had to pit for wing damage or something. He will probably be hoping for a safety car.
Once again, Taylor is kind of now losing even more battery deployment, but the McLaren sitting on the podium at the moment. They're kind of slowly but surely kind of increasing the gap on Zach. 3-second time penalty for BRL Phantom. Multiple warnings to track extensions that we planned. And Deer Hunter looks like he may go for the move again. He's just not close enough to make it stick around the outside looking. Minico defends rather well, and he's going to hold on to that position once again. Minico actually goes in the pits. The undercut has now been thrown away. Deer Hunter is going to have a little bit of a disadvantage right now with these tires.
And he's the first one to blink. What's weird is we have like 3 different packs of cars. We have the front 5, then we have Luciano bringing in basically the next 3, and then you had Crispy part with Jared and all of them. Or I'm sorry, Ferrari Nut, but Ferrari Nut now pits, so does Ron. And I assume everyone will go to mediums. 7 laps.
Well, that now raises the question, how powerful is the undercut? It's obviously going to be a little bit powerful, the nature of the British Grand Prix circuit, but how much more powerful is it going to be, especially for the Red Bull Minico? But right now, where does this put John in all of this? He's now up to 4th. He's going to take the lead once these guys ahead of him pits, and he's going to be on the softer compound tire, barring any other change in the race dynamic itself.
Well, we'll see. I mean, right now, John, he's sitting there at P4, and he's just been sitting the race since the start. I think he's just waiting for everyone in front of him to pit, then he's going to gap. Minico did come out. He's got Ardell in front of him.
Wait a minute. Taylor makes the move on Deer Hunter around the outside into Stowe. Is this where Deer Hunter pits, or does Taylor pit? They both pit. And Zach.
This frees John. Oh.
Deer Hunter has been given a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
That's going to hurt his race. Oh, John past 7-lap medium, or 8-lap mediums. So I think, yeah.
So where does this put Minico?
He is coming out of Stowe now.
It may be close. It may not actually be as effective as I thought it would be.
No, and
because he's been in traffic.
Well, not really.
That's gonna kill him.
It's not gonna kill him as much. He's gonna probably still retain the lead and actually have a gap here. He'll get through the Haas.
Whoa! That was audacious. Actually, he's not that far. It's not much of an undercut at all. Taylor definitely undercuts Deer Hunter, though, because of that move into Stowe.
Minico's probably...
Actually, now I see it.
About a second and a half, so it was worth it. They're having to deal with Tweaking at the moment, who is still out there on his 8-lap softs.
Well, now, how much can the McLaren of Taylor push here? Oh, Tweaking's around at Luffield. May have been contact, I'm not sure.
I'm wondering, hopefully no one hit him while he was spinning, or anyone else got damage, as he's back to P13. John comes by to complete another lap.
Deer Hunter's kind of on the teetering edge. Yellow flag.
I believe
That's
that
set.
is
Ardell.
Ardell.
Is that Littlefield?
Yes.
Bailey gets past KP21, battle for 11th. Bailey has stopped. KP21 has yet to stop. Deer Hunter, I said he was on the brink of DRS. Now he has DRS on the McLaren, but he doesn't have it down the Hamilton Straight as we did a couple of years ago. He's going to have it down into the Brooklands and the Wellington Straight. Let's see what the Mercedes can do with that, and hopefully these two can try to go catch down Minico. Right now that gap 1.3 seconds, about 1.5 like you said.
And right now, the gap between Minico and John is 25.4 seconds. And be interesting to see what that gap is. Roughly, I want to say 6-7 laps. John is basically in clean air. Minico, he's got Axe in front of him. And then I don't know if he'll catch Jared and Crispy in time before they have to pit.
It's going to be how much ground can he make up on those softs? That's going to be the big talking point for John's race here.
Well, he will certainly have the pace advantage on those softs.
But for how long?
That's
Star Tricks and Luciano both in.
Those are the last two on the soft compound. Both doing 10 laps on them. And with that, everyone else but Phantom will be on the medium compound. As
Minico grabs another fastest lap. Deer Hunter now takes that from him. The Mercedes is charging.
Yes, they are. Once the traffic gets cleared, Minico got by Axe. Taylor and Deer basically have Axe to deal with. Axe has done a really good first half of this race. Strategy to push.
There we go. This actually could be a great chance for Deer Hunter here. He has Axe Taylor, but here comes Deer Hunter on the McLaren. McLaren goes defensive into Littlefield, into Brooklyn, sorry. And Taylor has that move once again done. Oh, Deer Hunter almost loses the car, saves it into Littlefield. That's going to lose him a little bit of time.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Deer, his 5-second penalty is really going to hurt him going forward. And so far we have, outside of Deer's 5 seconds, 5 other driver penalties for cutting corners and going invalid on laps.
Yep, we look at the penalties now as Ron gets past KP21, battle for 13th. Actually, he's going to fight him back. The Williams there.
Ron should be able to get clear of him, being the fact that he has pitted in KP21. I believe he pitted on lap 1. Or no, he did not.
Zach the Beast gets past Axe F1. Scar Tricks gets re-overtakes Bailey. Battle for 9th. McLaren and the Alpha Tauri there.
Actually, with Star Tricks, he did the overcut, and it seems to paid off with Bailey and all of them. And I guess they were in dirty air. He was probably running P8, give or take, before the round of stops. Now, when this all sorts out, he will probably be 6th.
Move grabs a 3-second time penalty, battling with KP21 at the moment. By the way, I do want to point out, Deer Hunter is kind of all over the place, pushing the limits of that Mercedes so far. You saw it into Littlefield a lap ago. You also saw it, we were on board with him a second ago, and the exit of the loop had a little oversteer moment. So we have a lot of, I guess, he's pushing pretty hard in that Mercedes, and the gap shows he's down to 2/10 on Taylor, but the gap between Taylor and Minico is now 2.1.
Looking to complete lap 12. And Minico only did, if I recall, 8 laps on the softs. Is it 7?
I believe it was something like that, correct. Here comes Deer Hunter on Taylor to the left-hand side. The Mercedes with the DRS. The ERS is going to get him way before the braking zone of Stowe and up into P5. P2 on the road, though. Can he go chase down Minico ahead of him? He has no battery to deal with, and now he has DRS to happen to car behind him in McLaren's Taylor clan. But now, don't look now. Zach the Beast is only 1.2 seconds off. Will he be in this match? Now, Deer Hunter with the fastest lap, 29.0.
He's roughly, what, 1.7 behind. It's going to be hard to make that time up with no battery, but we'll see.
Have to see. He's shown he has some pretty good pace right now, but, well, how much tire life is he taking out of that Mercedes? The DRS will be to the McLaren. Deer Hunter's got to break that slipstream a little bit, trying to prevent him from even thinking about a move going down into Brooklands. And, well, he's a little bit too far back that time.
And they've kind of left Zach a little bit. Zach 1.2 behind. If these two guys get to start racing again, that might draw Zach right back to him.
We'll have to see. 1.7 now to Deer Hunter. Seems to fluctuate between that 1.7 to 1.9. And, well, it was down to 1.7. Minico a pretty stellar couple of corners from the exit of Blitzkit to all the way down to Maggots of Beckets.
John starts lap 14. The gap he has between him and Minico is 22.8 seconds. And Minico's slowly and surely starting to close that gap.
He's also gaining on Deer Hunter, so he right now is one of the fastest cars on track. And he may actually go for this overtake before Jared, Crispy, and John. Maybe not John, but definitely Jared and Crispy before they even go in pits. It's going to be really depending on how early they come in from those medium combat tires. Those three, John, Crispy, and Jared, have yet to stop so far. And, well, we don't know what the tire life is going to look like on those tires.
Well, Minico's up 2.2. He's starting to stretch his legs. And interesting to see where Crispy and Jared shake up in all of this. With the pit delta, what would you say the delta would be?
I think it's around 26 to 28 seconds or something like that. It's one of the longest pit lanes on the calendar, so it's definitely around that range. Zach is almost in DRS, by the way.
Oh, yeah, he is. Taylor's on at 27-ish battery life. Zach's at 5, though, so he's pushing as much as he can to close that gap.
He's doing the best he can. Minico's gap now to Jared, 4.8 seconds. He's gaining on that Alpine in front, but how much longer will the Alpine stay out? Maybe suggesting around maybe lap 17, 18 is probably when we'll see them in. Not too sure about that.
Then so far, relatively clean. Crispy gets a 3-second penalty, other than Ed Tronha's off at the end of Stowe near the pit lane entry. It's been hard racing, but very clean racing, I will say. Very reminds me of the 2018 British Grand Prix with Gasly and.
Well, other than turn 1.
Well,
lap 1.
Well, lap 1 was chaotic, but lap 1 usually is kind of sort of that way.
So Axe is the first one off of the mediums onto the softs, lap 15. So we could possibly see maybe the undercut triggered. Can they last that long? Well, we know Axe is pretty good at saving his tires.
Yes, he is.
Possibly could be, one thing to look out for.
Well, he comes out P15. He's roughly 7.5 seconds behind 21 and 14th, who is 8 seconds behind Mumu. It's going to be a vicious push for him to get points.
John's in.
So he will complete 15 laps, so he'll be looking to do 11 laps on these softs.
Crispy's in as well. Jared's going to stay out. He'll now take the race lead for the Alpine team.
See where these two shake out. Here comes Minico. And trying to see where the gap's going to be. Yeah, John's going to have some work to do, but change it real quick here. He's going to come out roughly 8 seconds behind. 7 seconds behind Minico.
We'll have to see. That is a pretty big gap. Taylor gets past Deer Hunter from Brooklands into Luffield. Deer Hunter goes a little bit wide to look now. Zach the Beast almost goes up the inside of Deer Hunter, the Mercedes. It's all now starting to kick off. Those drivers cannot catch Minico. Well, now here we go, Deer Hunter and Zach. Deer Hunter defends into Copse. Zach's going to look around the outside. Not enough space there.
I'd be patient. You have a DRS straight coming up. You're going to have it as well.
The ERS. John John's now 3.8. He is coming now pretty quickly with these guys battling. Deer Hunter's not close enough.
I don't know if he'll get up to Manico, but if you're Manico, you hope these three just battle and somehow, some way it bottles up John a bit. As Jared pits.
For Mercedes, the most logical thing here is if Zach gets past Deer Hunter and John catches Deer, John would be let through. Because realistically, he has more battery, he has the fresher tires, and at the moment he has a little bit more pace. So
I would. Deer's not going to be able to catch Manico at the moment. He does, but John does have the advantage, of the tires. I tell you what, Jared, I guess, is Jared pitting again? No, KV21 is, my apologies. Crispy's in the points, and he's only 4 seconds behind Ferrari Nut in P9, and actually Luciano in P8. So Crispy and Jared, they're on for the potential points.
The reverse strategy, or the alternate strategy, rather I say, is looking pretty good for those drivers down, and maybe even X.
I don't know about X.
Too far back.
He's a little way too far back, but you look at Crispy and Jared before the first round of pit stops.
Here comes Deer Hunter and Taylor, start to cut you off. Here he goes around the outside into Stowe.
Oh.
And Deer's going to grab that position again on Taylor. Zach's going to around and go to the outside. Not close enough. Taylor shuts the door.
Trying. These three have magnets.
John's coming.
Yeah, John is... He's A, licking his chops, but B, he's like, okay, can I get through this as soon as possible?
Well, that shows how far he's pushing. 28.1, fastest lap by about 9/10 of a second.
Hopefully he's not pushing too hard on those tires.
Yep, because if he pushes too hard now, well, he has not enough tire for maybe lap 23, 24, 25, 26.
Well, he's gained 2 seconds on Manico as DXD gets a penalty. And so does BRL. You know, the side of that...
KP21 grabs a penalty as well.
The other side of that flip coin of why Mercedes should let John through, Deere has a 5-second penalty at the end of the day, so that kind of makes that decision easy, Mike.
I agree with that. Let's see. I mean, he could get it removed, which I'm not sure exactly if he could or not, because, well, I mean, if he was over the pit lane Delta line, I mean, he was over the pit lane Delta line. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're speeding the pits, you're speeding the pits.
Right. It's kind of a slam dunk one.
It kind of is. There's almost, I mean, if you do it, it's pretty much you did it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Oh, Zach almost loses a car through Stowe. Oversteer trying to push really hard for the Red Bull here. Now, that's, well, he needs to get a move on, if he's really honest, because he has to get past Taylor and Deere, because he knows John is coming. There's no, like, there's no sugarcoating it. He's there.
The problem is he doesn't.
And that's the big problem as well.
And there's another problem that could potentially happen is we've not had a safety car in this race. We'll have to lift and coast and save fuel.
That is another good point. John should have DRS when we come to into Stowe this lap.
He should.
But he also has 24% battery, which is not going to help his favor either. It's around the same as Zach the Beast, who we've seen has struggled a little bit with the battery this race already. So it's going to be kind of equal playing fields. While all this is happening, Manico is still getting away.
Yeah, right now Deere's at 11. Taylor's at basically 18, 19. So they're kind of fighting with the same amount at the end of the day.
Looking through the rear wing, the Honda of John. Taylor's not close enough on Deer Hunter into Stowe. Yellow flag. That looks like Ardell's out of the race.
Off.
Through farm. Is that the safety car you were talking about?
Well, we'll see. They're complete. We're on lap 19. And still no word. I'm pretty sure if you're Minico, you're hoping no safety car, and doesn't look like we're going to get
no
one.
Safety car. John has been
Oh.
given a 3-second time penalty, and we were on board for it. That is going to be pretty much his race done.
Yes, it is.
Because now he needs to catch Minico, which is about, almost loses the car for that rather, too, which is about 5-ish seconds. Let's actually go look at the gap. The leader we have that do so.
Well, he's
Right
he's 4.6 behind Minico.
He needs to find 7.7 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But who knows? Maybe Minico makes a mistake, or who knows? Maybe even Minico gets a penalty. Then they're on kind of even playing field.
Let's see. Let's take a look at the penalties while we hit the chance so as well. DRS could be very spicy in the run down the Hangar Straight into Stowe. Taylor's going to have DRS. Zach's going to have DRS. John's going to have DRS. John is now going to be pushing furiously, trying to get past Zach, past Taylor, past Deere as quick as possible. Is he close enough this time? Doesn't look like it.
They all basically have the same amount of battery. It's kind of really hard to gain a gap against another unless one makes mistakes. You're kind of in a train here, since you have. Even with John having higher,
John's going to go down the inside of
Ooh.
Zach. Talk about the superior tire.
He
He
went for
contact
it.
again. He did go for it. John and Zach still side by side, going through the loop. John's going to get the better traction up into fourth. That's one car down, 2 to go, until we can go and try to go clean air and catch after Minico.
Meanwhile, back in the back, Crispy has caught Ferrari nut of him. Crispy, like John, is on 4 laps. He might be able to get to, Luciano in P8 if he has the time.
Let's see. Quick mention, by the way. It's been a great race for both McLarens, both
Oh.
AlphaTauris in the points. John.
Yes, he did. That opens the door for Zach. So that ambitious move John did a lap ago.
Down the inside
wow.
again.
Oh!
Contact. Zach spun round. He saves it. But that's probably going to be a steward's inquiry.
Yes, it will be. It looked like
Taylor almost looked for a move on Deer Hunter, that same corner. Zach has damage and now pits.
well, it won't be another 1-2 for Red Bull today. And if Zach's not careful, I know they got the pace, but he might not get a point.
It's going to be an Albon 2020 kind of scenario here.
No, he's right now going to be out of the points, and he's going to be behind both Ferraris most likely.
He's going to have about 5 laps to get past both Ferraris, catch Jared, and grab some points.
He's going to have to find 10 seconds. Actually, he's going to have to find 15 seconds. That's not going to happen. Very, very unfortunate for Zach. I'd like to see a replay of that after the race. Looked like they both made in Stowe, and just 2 cars arguing over not enough space.
Crispy got past Ferrari Nut. Ferrari Nut is now closing in a bit, like Taylor is to Deer Hunter around the outside looking for it. Not close enough. Taylor's now in a Mercedes sandwich. John's now pressurizing the McLaren. See Will down the inside of the McLaren.
Taylor needs to be smart here. He's dealing with 2 people that have penalties.
He now lets them through. So
And
Taylor now goes down to 4th.
Taylor's in 4th, but John has a 3. Deere has a 5. Those are likely not going to get removed. Taylor just needs to sit there most likely, and you'll get net P2.
And there's a chance, depending on how the stewards see it, that John may have more.
That is true.
While this has all been done, the switch is finally going to be made for Mercedes. John past Deer Hunter. But Minico is about 4.5 seconds in front.
I tell you,
Plus that 3-second time penalty. 7.7, about 7.5 for John.
tell you
That's a
something
little bit too much.
very quiet race. Star Trek's P5.
Yes, he has.
Very
He's
quiet.
now pretty much where he wasn't qualifying, to be fair. Qualifying 1 and 2.
He qualified P10, and he's up 5 positions. And he was actually one of the late guys that pitted for that soft compound. He stayed out till lap 11, so he's got Bailey coming, though, behind him, but he's had a very quiet race, and for all the good reasons.
It's a good thing. Taylor almost goes in the back of Deer Hunter, and Stowe runs a little bit wide in the exit. Could we possibly see, because if Taylor gets a penalty here, as he runs almost in the back of Deer Hunter again, almost pushing him into Vale. Deer knows he needs to get a move on now.
And all this, Nico is just off and clear. Oh, and
I just said it. 3-second time penalty for Taylor. That's going to hurt him. Now put him on equal playing fields with John John.
he will still have his 5 seconds to Taylor's 2 or 3, so he stays within 2 seconds to Deer, then he can still get P3.
Well, John John knows this now. He went defensive, trying to make sure Deer doesn't even bring Taylor with him, or even thoughts of Deer making an overtake himself.
Yeah, if you're Deer, you probably want John John to not break DRS. If that happens, Deer's probably going to be a sitting duck.
Regardless, even with the DRS, he's a kind of a sitting duck right now. He's going to be off the podium with that 5-second time penalty. See how this DRS straight will work. Who has the more battery? Is the better run? Looks like Deer may have the benefit here.
And Crispy gets by Luciano for
Wait a minute.
P7. Oh, here we go.
Taylor's closing in. He's not close enough. Looked for the move, though.
2 laps to go.
Almost into the back of Deer again.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes, go.
See, we also have both Alpine cars. Both of them are in the points, P9 and P10.
We're not chasing down Luciano. Jared's chasing him. To Abby. Brynut's going to make this move on Luciano down the inside. He's going to get him into Village, still side by side with the Aston Martin. Down the inside into the loop. Better traction for Rory Nutt. It should get him out. But they both get DRS, so the car in front of them. Crispy, contact a little bit between the two. Jared's not going to get a benefit. Down the inside, Luciano. Into Brooklands. Still side by side. Oh, contact round. Rory Nutt doesn't save it this time. He goes around at Luffield, and that's going to give possibly the Stewart's inquiry for the Alpine, and Jared's going to get a good.
Well, he needs to get going because you have Mumu. Yeah, I know he has 3 seconds, but you have also Ron as well. If I was Ferrari, I would swap Ron and Mumu so that way maybe Ron can go after Ferrari Nut. Even though we're on the last
Jared
lap.
now has a 3-second time penalty.
Well, lucky for him, he's got about a 6-second gap over his teammate. Sector 3.
Yellow flag. Bailey. Bailey is spun around at the exit of Stowe. He'll lose 1, 2, 3.
What is happening here on this last
He
lap?
doesn't have any penalties.
That promotes Jared to P8.
Damage?
That promotes Crispy to P6, but what has happened?
Looks like he just lost the car at the exit of Stowe. This is going to be the final chance for Taylor. Deer's not going to get on the podium. But if John John grabs a penalty, there's a chance Taylor could still grab P2 here, unless he overtakes John John on track. But we go from this battle to the man who's pretty much been almost night and day ahead of the field. It's been 3 out of 4 so far, 1-2s for Red Bull. It's not going to be a Red Bull 1-2 again, but 2 of those 3 1-2s have been this man leading the pack. He tried to win Baku, it wasn't successful. He won Canada, his home Grand Prix. He won the next week at France. No, he didn't win France, but he won the week after at Austria. And guess what? He'll win again. Minico wins the British Grand Prix. John comes across the line, P2. Deer Hunter has that unserved 5-second time penalty, and Taylor will grab the podium here at Silverstone.
Waiting for the rest of the order to finish. Looks like Star Tricks is going to go home in P5. Top 5 on debut, if I'm not mistaken. Very well done to him. Crispy P6 for him, and Luciano P7.
Oh, Jared almost loses the car, but does cross the line.
Oh, right in front of Bailey, P9, and Ferrari not to be able to hold on to give Alpine double points. So, double points for AlphaTauri, Alpine, McLaren, and Mercedes, and I'm sure Stewart's inquiry will be brought in about what happened between Zach and, who was that, John?
Correct.
That will probably be dealt with after the race.
You see a lot of teams. Jared actually goes up 12 positions. He'll be driver of the day, no doubt.
Yes.
A lot of teams have had some good finishes. Crispy, Bailey, both AlphaTauris in the points. Both Alpines in the points. Luciano up in 6th. Good day for him. Both Mercedes, they have actually points on Red Bull. That's one of the first times I've actually, other than France. McLaren, they had a good finish,
Yes,
3rd and 5th.
did.
Minico is the only Red Bull, but Ferrari has had an atrocious day.
Ferrari-powered engines have had a horrible day.
That's true.
Only one made it in the Q3 with Mumu, and very unfair. They'll have to regroup, and luckily for them and everyone, they'll get a week's off. Time to rest and get ready for, what is next, Hungary?
Ring. Well, that's now the 3rd victory in about 5 races for Red Bull, and leads and now wins the British Grand Prix ahead of the Mercedes of John. Barring any stewards incidents, we could see a shake up of the grid even more. Taylor grabs 3rd and another podium, and actually, I believe his first of the season. He's made an agreement with Port, and he's not been performing up to what he wanted to so far. He's been frustrated. Maybe this will help him out.
Oh, he's been
British
due.
Grand Prix. Yeah, he has been due for a good result. The British Grand Prix itself is done and dusted, and it's time to move on. We have a season break that will come back a week from next week after Thanksgiving for us Americans, and we'll have the Hungarian Grand Prix. Well, right now, Minico wins the British Grand Prix ahead of John, ahead of Taylor, ahead of Deer Hunter, ahead of Scartrix. The McLarens and the Mercedes kind of checkerboard patterning. Luciano 6th. Crispy goes up to 7th. He goes up 5 positions. Jared wins driver of the day, easy positions. He started 20th. He finishes 8th. Bailey, he grabs 9th. Ferrari Nut grabs the last points paying position. Ron Swanson on debut for Ferrari. He beats his teammate Mumu. Both drivers didn't score points this week, however. Zach the Beast, he splits the 2 Ferraris. He has the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That will not that will not count towards his points total due to him not finishing in the top 10. XF1 finishes 14th, Tweaking 15th, Phantom 16th, Ishigo on debut 17th, KP21 18th, Ardell finishes 19th. We've lost him and Ed Toronja in the British Grand Prix.
Well, be interesting to see what else happened between Ferrari Nut and Bailey at the end of those last couple of laps. That was interesting.
Interesting indeed. You mind sending those guys an invite?
Let's see. I can do. There's Manico. Did y'all get John in here? I don't have him on here. If you don't mind.
All right. With those drivers in the booth now, we'll now hand it off to Bois. Bois, take it away for Taylor and for John.
Well, Taylor, starting P5 up to P3, talk about your brilliant start and just talk about what seemed to be the ongoing battle up front with you the whole race.
Oh, I mean, once I got by John, and Zach off the start, I knew it was just going to be a DRS train. I knew you wouldn't be able to overtake with, like, somebody in front of you having DRS. So, whole plan going into it is, sit behind somebody and just stay in their DRS. Obviously, I got that point where I had to, that fight for the lead at one point, which Deere decided to, not be too kind about that, which I'll remember that. So, after that, Zeno undercutted. I didn't expect to keep up with him unless we kept his DRS, which we didn't. So, from there, just sit behind Deere because he sped in the pit lane. So, Zach wasn't able to pass me. John was able to get on my inside in the corner, which I couldn't defend at that point. So, yeah, pretty good race. I'm happy about that.
It's your first podium of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think this is the point where, now that you get a week off, that you can get the season going on for you the rest of the year?
Hopefully. Hungary is not looking too promising for us. We have the front end of a Haas, but the engine of a 2019 Ferrari, so we'll see what happens from here. I don't expect much besides maybe a top 5 if we're lucky at Hungary.
Okay, we'll move to John. John, you started on the medium compound, and you seem to kind of sort of keep the leaders in front of you, and then you went to the soft compound at the end. Did you think that you could make the alternate strategy work to get Manico at the end?
Really, I don't have Manico's pace, especially when that Red Bull's on rails too. But basically, I just tried my best. I mean, if I maybe put it a lap earlier, maybe would have had a better chance. But I mean, when it's basically a DRS train, it's almost impossible to pass. So I was like, all right, let's try to get a podium, because it was like there was no chance, unless Manico made a mistake, I was going to catch him. So, I mean, obviously I'm very happy with P2, because obviously I've not had very good results in the 2 cars I've been in already in this season. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much all I could do, really. There was no way I was going to catch Manico.
Describe the contact between you and Zach the Beast. What happened there in Stowe?
The first one, I think it was fair. I mean, I wasn't a whole lot far back. I was only like a 10th back, and I went for it. And I think, honestly, maybe I just went a tiny bit deep, and maybe just turned in a little bit, to make contact, and then it was fine, the first one. And then the second one, I got a bad exit at the end of Beckets, and he got back ahead, but then I sent it, then I was back ahead again, and in my opinion, I held my line, and Zach just turned in on me like I just didn't exist, and then he got spun. So, I don't know, that's just my opinion. To be honest, I'm not a dirty racer. I tend to not really go for those dive bombs, but I had to, because obviously I just needed to do something since I was on a softer compound as well. So, yeah, but I mean, in my opinion, the first one's definitely a racing incident. You could say the second one was, but second one is definitely not my fault. I held my line, I sent it, and in my opinion, Zach turned in on me.
Well, hopefully we'll see what the stewards say about that, if that gets talked about. And that's y'all's first podium in quite some time. Hopefully we can see more Mercedes in the podiums.
It's pretty sad, to be honest.
Well, there's still a second half of the season remaining, so never over until it's over.
Yeah, true.
Catcher, do you want to do Manico or do you want me?
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Well, it's now the second week in a row. We had it at Austria a week ago. Now we have it here at Britain. It's kind of getting more of a recurring, a recurring appearance, seeing you in this P1 position at the podium interviews. It happened now 3 times in 5 races, with it being, ever more prominent. The Red Bull kind of getting back on track. Manico, welcome to the booth, and tell us your view from the side of the garage here at Silverstone.
Well, to be honest, right now it's kind of up and down. Like, on one side, obviously, I'm really happy to get the win. It definitely wasn't easy, considering the fact that Mercedes and Taylor were right there, especially at the first stint. It was really hard to hold them back because that Mercedes engine is fast. But yeah, like after I did the undercut, it was plain and simple. I pulled a second over the next car, and then I just kind of logged laps and then pulled a gap. And ideally, I didn't get a time penalty, which helped a lot, and I was just kind of in the clear, and I just kind of kept it easy for the last couple of laps. And yeah, it was definitely I would say, somewhat straightforward race. It wasn't straightforward at the start, but once all the pit stops were done, it was straightforward, which is exactly what I would have wanted. So I'm definitely pretty happy with that, but on one end, it's super unfortunate about what happened to Zach. I wanted him to be on the podium. He was on the running for a podium. And then obviously that contact happened. I'm not entirely sure what happened exactly. I'll have to look back at that, but it was just super unfortunate. But at least he took the fastest lap away from Mercedes, so that's obviously going to help us in the constructors. So a bit up and down, but yeah, it was a pretty good Grand Prix from my end.
Well, usually this is what I would say. What do you think your chances are a week from now? But there is no week from now. It's a season break for us Americans and Thanksgiving. So I guess actually, because it's directly on Thanksgiving, the realistic Grand Prix would be from a week from now. Well, I guess are you taking a little bit of R&R, rest and relaxation next week, and preparing yourself for Hungary in about 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, I'm obviously gonna practice quite a bit for that. Hungary is not known to be a good track of mine. Neither was Britain, but apparently Britain I somehow just won there. So who knows what can happen? So I'll just I'll just take a bit of a breather and then obviously get back on the grind, see what I could do at Hungary, and hopefully just continue this streak, because that's 2 wins in a row, like you said, and I just want to keep that momentum going.
Well, the momentum is hot for Red Bull, and especially for you, but, well, Mercedes have seemed to pick up the pace a little bit, and now with their signing has been confirmed. Cookie and Deer Hunter are both going to be to the end, or at least Deer Hunter to the end of the season. Cookie are for the next 5 or so races starting at Hungary. So that now leaves the question mark for the future of John, but we'll have to see that as it plays out. For myself, Hey Catcher, Bois, and everyone in the Realistic Grid, from the Breakout Racing League, from Minico, from John, and from Taylor up in the booth here tonight, we thank you, and we wish you a good night. And we'll see you 2 weeks from now for the Realistic Grand Prix at Hungary. But, well, don't leave anywhere. We have Friday, we have Tier 3 and Tier 4 at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Saturday, we have Tier 2 and Tier 1 at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively, as well. And then we have the season finale of BRL ACC at Bathurst. And you'll definitely want to tune in for that. You have Axe and Mitchie, and you'll give the all the action from Mount Panorama itself. And then you have no racing next week, period, from ACC, from BRL F2, from BRL F1, realistic or equal tiers. There is no racing next week due to Thanksgiving break, basically. We wish you a happy holiday for the Thanksgiving, and we wish you very well from us at the Breakout Racing League. But from Realistic, from myself, Hey Catcher, from Bois, and everyone in the Breakout Racing League, we wish you a good night and happy holidays. It's coming around the corner.